Hello there, everybody, and today, for my next movie review of 2024, we are doing part 2 of Justice League, Crisis on Infinite Earths. So, I really liked part 1 with the story that was Barry Allen going through various moments of his life before he makes the ultimate sacrifice to stop the crisis wave from hitting Earth 1. But now in part 2, we get the story of Supergirl and how she became Harbinger and learning about the character Psycho Pirate. So, I was actually excited for this movie when I saw a little teaser for it, because the opening of this movie literally opens with Batman on Earth 2 trying to protect the tower of that Earth, but he's encountered by the Bat family. He finally teams up with them. We get Earth 2, Robin, Batgirl, Huntress, Damian Wayne. We even get Terry McGinnis returning as Batman Beyond, with Will Friedle coming back for the role. And we don't know if this is the Earth, like the DCAU one, like an alternate version of the DCAU one, or this is Earth 2. It's an unknown Earth, but that's a different story. But Batman's fighting the Joker, Killer Croc, Solomon Grundy, and he even meets up with Jim, who has been Jokerized. I don't know if this is the Earth 1 version. I was hoping not, but the wiki was confirming that it was not. It was an Earth 2 version. That's the confusing part. We don't know which version of which Earth is which when we watch this movie. But Batman ends up being unable to save Jim from the Joker, but apparently with the Bat family's help, he's able to take down Joker, Croc, Solomon Grundy. But Batman keeps telling the family that he can do this alone, he doesn't need help. But the Bat family keeps trying to tell him that he does need help. He needs to let people in, because this is an early Batman. This is before he decides to let people in and be part of the Bat family. Because Batman's known for wanting to work alone back then, but this does show that Batman does not refer to the family as soldiers, because a lot of people love making the argument that Batman recruits the family like they're soldiers. It's just not true, because Batman actually views them as family. But that's a different topic. But as this movie goes on, it kind of just becomes filling in the gaps a lot. It explains Psycho Pirate's origin and Supergirl, because in the opening credits of the Legion of the Superheroes, we saw Kara when she left Argo City as it got destroyed, with Krypton getting destroyed as well. But apparently during Kara's trip, she apparently was picked up by the Monitor, and she was sort of raised by him. But as things went on, Kara started to not trust the Monitor, and the two argue because Kara feels he could have saved her world, but he didn't. He's just watching worlds sort of die. But it leaves Kara eventually going to Earth, where she meets Kal-El, and the rest of the Legion of the Superhero event happen off screen, and Kara tries to go look for Superman during Justice League War World, but this is where Kara is chosen to become the Harbinger, where she is going to recruit various superheroes to basically join her side and stop the Anti-Monitor. But we also get Psycho Pirate's origin, like I said. His story is basically, he was on Earth 2. He was raised pretty, wild. He had a not good childhood where he was forced to go to boarding school. He was bullied by various bullies. But eventually he discovered his powers. He is able to control people through his mind. And he was able to convince his bullies to kill each other. And it's actually pretty dark if you really think about it. But he's talking about his origin to a mysterious figure, which is later revealed to be Dr. Fate of this universe, which was interesting. But Psycho Pirate is also eventually, as he gets older, he is a sailor, but he's also meets up with Aquaman of Earth 2, where he is able to mind control Aquaman, and that's what led to Justice Society World War II. We even see a flashback of him getting chased by the Flash. I thought Flash wasn't going to appear in this because he dies, and the Justice League thinks he is dead, but apparently we do get this flashback, a non-speaking role, but Psycho Pirate basically gets his powers, and he basically even gets the name later when Supergirl meets him and says he looks like a pirate psycho, and he says, that is a good name. But sorry if I skip some things, but once we get to the crisis itself, the movie becomes a little bit better in pacing. But honestly, this movie kind of just feels like it's just tying in the gaps for the Tomorrowverse, because they had to basically got thrown under a blender, and they had to do what the best they could for this movie. But when we do get the crisis, we see a bunch of tie-ins to the DC animated shorts they did on the various DVDs. If you watched the Tomorrowverse on Blu-ray, apparently we got a Blue Beetle in the question there. Apparently it's revealed that Psycho Pirate was the villain of that little animated short, because he's apparently been visiting other worlds. But we also get I think his name is Kolhar and Sullivar from another short that DC did. And apparently they're protecting their Earth from the various anti-monitor waves. We get these shadow creatures. We also saw this in the Crisis on Infinite Earths comic. But as this is going on, our characters are doing their best to take a stance against them. Batman ends up having a fight between the Bat family because they feel he's pushing them around, and Batman gives his infamous line where he says, "I don't recruit children to fight in a war. How many died?" But the Bat family tries to make him realize that they can do this. They can work together as a family, and I even like the line where Terry says, "I tell you what, he wasn't alone." I love that line. But the various characters do their best to fight the shadow creatures, but Batman ends up fighting the Bat family. Superman, Kara, Green Lantern, and Green Arrow try to take down the Shadow Warriors, but it becomes way too overwhelming until a mysterious homeless man shows up, and he's got sort of mystic powers, and John suspects that he's seen him before, all the way back in Green Lantern Beware My Power, but the homeless man doesn't remember who he is until John reveals his name, and then the homeless man says, "That's my name. I haven't thought about that in 1,000 years." But he remembers who he is, and it's revealed to be John Constantine, voiced by the awesome Matt Ryan. So it was awesome to see John Constantine, because later in part 3, it's revealed why this crisis is happening. I'm going to talk about it next week, because it's a major spoiler. But our characters are brought together to take down what's revealed to be the Anti-Monitor. But John actually sacrifices his Green Lantern ring to basically stop the Shadow villains. But when the characters do come together they're forced to fight the Anti-Monitor, and he's about to use the antimatter wave on them. But Kara, on the other hand, was confronted by the Monitor after she thought he caused everything that's gone wrong. But she ends up getting controlled by Psycho Pirate to actually murder the Monitor. And he was also visited by the Spectre, who's saying big things are coming. But the Monitor is unfortunately killed by Kara, who is brainwashed. But when she snaps out of it, she feels terrible for what she's done. But as this cliffhanger comes together, the Anti-Monitor is about to wipe them out, like I said. And that's the movie. So this movie was alright. It kind of just feels like you kind of just want to see part 3, honestly. But this is definitely the weakest of the Crisis movies, in my opinion. Like, I don't think I hate the movie. It's just not really what I was expecting. It was better than Justice League Warworld for sure. But overall, I think this movie did do some good moments between Batman and the Bat Family. And I did like Supergirl. I really love Meg Donnelly as Supergirl. But once we get to part 3, that's where things get really good. So I probably give this one probably a 6 out of 10. But yeah, the animation looks alright. It's sad that it was cheapened because of they had such a small budget for these movies. But they found a way to make it work to have their finale. But I think I've been rambling on enough about this movie. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.